My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is February 11, 2026. It is 4:52 a.m. This is video number 2. So let's continue on X. Alright, let's pause. Those female bodies found on the royal estate are finally being discussed. Okay, so this is one of the squaddies who retweet that. Let's go into that. Alright, pause again. Breaking news. The DOJ had disclosed Epstein correspondence that includes 2 girls being killed during rough sex on a golf course. The FBI wants to talk with Prince Andrew, and bodies were discovered on royal estate. End quote. Author Andrew Loney leaves our friends who's that? Mike Graham speechless at the satanic revelation which the DOJ have uncovered and the FBI are currently working on in relation to Prince Andrew, Epstein, and the demonic hub of political and globalist elites. Okay, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Let's listen. Let me bring it up.
Fascinating stuff. So in your view, there's so much more that could be being written by the press, but which is not being written despite the availability of information. Are you saying they're frightened of being sued? Are they frightened of upsetting people? What's the story?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of material to go through, 3 million pages. I mean, there's a lot of work being done by, in effect, citizen journalists on Substack. There's a lot of stuff in people's podcasts, for example. I had lots of stories about satanic rites and all sorts of things that I was given, and I didn't believe them. I discarded them. But we're now seeing stories of for example, 2 girls who may have been killed in rough sex, buried on a golf course. I understand Surrey police have approached the FBI about a story connected with Prince Andrew. There's bodies being found on royal estates. So this is getting darker and darker, it seems that what people tell me may have had some truth about it, because this was about 4 or 5 different people.
Wow. Well, I'm literally speechless at this point.
And what I can't understand about this is that there are so many different conspiracy stories, true stories involving the premier family of our land, that actually, my suspicion is that journalists have become bored by it. It took 4 years of your life to put this book together. And I get the impression that most journalists today are being spoon-fed this stuff and therefore can't be bothered to spend 4 minutes looking at it. Is that your view?
Yes, I'm journalism around, but people are very lazy, and this is true about royal coverage generally. People don't do the legwork. Don't go. I mean, I talked to 300 people, approached 3,000 people, and have, I only used about 1/10 of my material. And poor journalists don't have the time to do this sort of research, but they are being spoon-fed stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in my book which still hasn't been covered in the press. Andrew's mistress in Mayfair, the mistress, Sonia Cooling, the Thai that he took on with him to Thailand. So there's lots of stuff that actually is in the public domain and hasn't even been covered.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. It's great. Great.
One thing that crossed my mind as I was listening to him, I remember there's a video I saw where this tourist, I think, was in front of one of those palaces, could have been Buckingham Palace, was recording where those, how do they call them, those guards with the red shirt was either changing the guard, I don't know, but there were a group of the guards walking by, and this tourist was recording, and somewhere in the background a naked man was coming out of the window. So there's a lot of things that's going on with these people. I don't know the truth with what he's saying, but whatever. Let's see here. Whatever is here, that's it. I challenged Mr. Lonnie to present proof of these bodies on Sandringham Estate. I thought not. Okay, case closed. He never responded to random all you on X. You're not that important. Okay, let me not get into that. Alright, what is that? Jay-Z, PDD. Wow. I don't know if this picture is correct, but whatever. And with what's going with PDD, I will not dismiss it completely. And there's these two over here. I'm talking about the Clintons. Alright, let's go back to the Sussex squad. Let's see what they have to say here. Normally, I will say but I have watched tons of his videos from last year and how they went to town to discredit his book last year, only for the whole thing to be proven true with the Epstein file dump. I don't like his stance on Harry, but in the Andrew case, he is spot on. Okay, Harry threatened to sue and he removed that story from his talking point. Sandringham has served as a private residence for British monarchs since 1862 and is a favorite of the royal family as a holiday retreat. The body is that of a young adult female, 2012. Oh, there's the ABC News covering it. I'm not gonna read that. Oh, and the Guardian is mentioning it. Okay, so there it is here. I think they might be cooked. Can they recover from any of this? They've been at it for a very long time, so I don't know. Let's go to the next tweet. Alright, this one says CIA Epstein file. I can't believe the trust they put on Andrew and for him to backstab. Oh my god, this one is long. Exactly 7 minutes. Ex-CIA explain adrenochrome and child trafficking. Okay, ex-CIA explain adrenochrome. Okay, adrenalized and child trafficking. Okay, so let's listen. Hopefully I don't have anything to say in between because it's pretty long.
Spain, what is the relationship? It's my question, between the child trafficking, adrenochrome manufacture, and how this is used to blackmail and to control Wall Street and also politics.
And judges. Let me start by giving the president very high marks. He did 2 executive orders, one in December 2017, one in January 2020, that are hugely significant on human trafficking. Human trafficking, and particularly child trafficking, underlies every other great crime in this country. Children are now more valuable than drugs for criminal transactions.
God.
As best I can tell, toward 8 million children a year are being abducted.
How many?
And every 8 million. Toward 8 million children a year. In the United States, it's 800,000 to 1 million.
There was one Twitter I came across who was giving some numbers, showing some numbers of kids missing. It's in one of my videos, but let's continue.
All right. This is very serious stuff. And part of the problem is that wars create refugees. And if you look at Hillary Clinton, for example, the Haitian disaster, her friends were in there scooping up children.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Say that.
This is a matter of record.
Okay, and one of my videos, I usually put the Haitian flags when I'm talking about Haiti. I did mention it. I came across some information. They were old information, but I thought it was, since it was new to me, I share it in one of my videos. So he is true. He's telling the truth here, because I did not too long ago. Could have been last week.
Yeah. Now let me go back to the whole thing of child sacrifice, adrenochrome, and so forth.
God.
I didn't believe it myself, but Pizzagate woke me up. Is it Pizzagate or Comet Pizza? All of that.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm sorry I'm laughing about this serious thing. With Andrew regarding Pizzagate, I think when he did his interview with BBC or something like that, there were some issues with pizza. Anyway, I think that was his alibi or something. I don't remember the full story, but let me not waste time trying to remember what I know. Let's continue. Probably when I'm editing, I'll put the information on the screen.
That woke me up, and I started looking into it, and I connected with an author, a West Point graduate, That's our Sandhurst, I guess. A West Point graduate, Joaquim Hagopian. And with my encouragement, he has written a book to which I wrote the foreword called, and this is free online. Everything I do is free online because my whole point is to try and raise public awareness and so forth.
Your website, robertsteele.com.
No, robertdavidsteele.com.
robertdavidsteele.com. Somebody will put it in the links. Mark, if you could put it in the links, it's our technical division.
Right.
Basically,
because my whole point is to try and raise public awareness and so forth.
Your website, robertsteele.com.
No, robertdavidsteele.com.
robertdavidsteele.com. Somebody will put it in the links. Mark, if you could put it in the links, it's our technical division.
Right.
Basically, and they can read about this. This is not something that is a secret to them. If they want to go on to, they can do their research on your website.
I gotta give Amazon high credit because they haven't censored these books or these chapters. They're also free online. I mean, people who know tinyurl.com just go to Pedo Empire. Okay. That's the short URL. But under my encouragement, Joaquin has produced 34 chapters so far, with additional chapters to come. And each chapter documents pedophilia going back into time. This is not new. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Aztecs and the Mayans were sacrificing children and drinking their blood and so forth. Mm-hmm. And drinking a child's blood without torturing the child is a known anti-aging device. Peter Thiel is on record in the newspaper saying he gets a transfusion of child's blood every day. All right? Now, the question is, what about torturing children? So we have pedophilia, which is...
There's a video that I came across literally tonight. I decided not to put it on the list because YouTube most likely will block it anyway, so I didn't even bother. Where a group of kids, probably the most between 4 and 7, okay, they dress in somewhat greenish color, not dark green, but very light green, and there's a tub, and the guy is taking the kid, like drowning him. I don't know what he was doing. Put the kid in the tub. The kids look so afraid. Oh my God. But if they're looking to have a white supremacy kind of world, and not too long ago I was talking about the US regarding Trump messing up with the census and things like that, and the white population is in decline, and then they're doing that to kids, how do they expect for the white population to elevate? They're killing them and eating them, but yet they want their population to be high up there. And then with the drinking of the blood, there's so many diseases out there. Do they check to see if there's any? But anyway, let's continue. Oh my God, these people are sick. They are sick. The evil within these people. Let's continue.
Is child sex abuse. Then we have torturing children to create adrenochrome. And the easiest way I've found to explain this to people is to think about how the Chinese torture dogs. They basically boil dogs alive.
Oh my God.
And the reason they do that is because it changes the flavor of the meat. And what it's doing is it's pumping adrenaline from the tortured dog into the blood. And that's what's changing the flavor. Okay? Now, I have never participated in a satanic ritual abuse act. I've never talked to anyone who has been present at a satanic ritual abuse act. But Joaquim Hagopian has documented hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links of people who have testified about all of this stuff, which includes things like forcing fetuses to be delivered and eaten on site as part of the ritual. Now, let me stop there. Participated in a satanic ritual abuse act. I've never talked to anyone who has been present at a satanic ritual abuse act, but Joaquim Hagopian has documented hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links of people who have testified about all of this stuff, which includes things like forcing fetuses to be delivered and eaten on site as part of the ritual. Now, let me stop there and just say that Sidney Powell, I'm a huge fan of Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn's lawyer. I like to say that the only difference between Sidney Powell as a pit bull is that one wears pearls. Okay? She is a monster. And I would like to see her be a Supreme Court justice, because there's no one else in America that is standing up to crooked judges and crooked prosecutors. And by the way, crooked judges are running children into pedophilia by taking them away from their parents, and they're running the elderly to their graves in order to strip them of their estate.
Oh my God.
And the way this works is the elder person is drugged up, then the sheriff takes them away, then the estate is sold, and the judge, the prosecutor, the sheriff, and the doctor all split the proceeds.
Oh my
Okay?
God.
Sidney Powell gave a speech recently at a university in which he talked about what was known to have been on the Weiner laptop, which had all of the Hillary Clinton and Huma Abed stuff. And what she said was that what the New York police saw on that laptop caused them to vomit. I cannot overstate.
That's a New York police officer.
Yes, multiple officers.
Right,
Actually, I love the New York police.
I think he pronounced his name wrong. What's his first name? Weiner. He had some issues. He married this Middle Eastern lady. They just had a baby, and there was something. I think he was cheating on the wife, and then there was that separation. Let me pause. Okay, so I type on Google Weiner laptop. In October 2016, the FBI discovered approximately 650,000 emails on a laptop belonging to former Congressman Anthony, that was his name, Anthony Weiner, during a sexting investigation. All right, so he was having an affair with somebody, so they find this information with thousands of potential links to Hillary Clinton's private server via his estranged wife, Uma Abedin. The BBC News report shows this triggered a brief reopening of the Clinton email investigation just days before the 2016 election. Okay, so there's all of that. Let me show you his picture. There he is, him. All right, so that was his former wife. I think they divorced. Let me. What happened to Anthony? Okay. Let me pause. I really don't want this video too long. Okay, so I type what happened between Anthony Weiner and wife in 2016. I made sure to put 2016. Let's see. Oh, let's go to all. Okay, on August 28, 2016, the New York Post reported that Weiner had engaged in sexting with another woman, including sending a picture of himself, in July 2015 with his toddler son sleeping next to him. Oh my God, they're all freaking sick. The New York Times reported the next day that Weiner and his wife intended to separate. I never heard much about her anymore. She had a high-profile position as well. Okay, I'm drifting off. I just wanted to show you what he was talking about, Anthony Weiner. Alright, so let's continue with that. It's almost done. Let me move it back slightly. Because he pronounced his name, the Anthony Weiner. He only mentioned the last name, but he pronounced it kind of wrong.
What was known to have been on the Weiner laptop.
You see, he said Weiner.
Which had all of the Hillary Clinton and Huma Abed stuff. And what she said was that what the New York police saw on that laptop caused them to vomit. I cannot overstate.
That's a New York police officer.
Yes, multiple officers.
Right,
Actually, I love the New York police.
Let's just say that again. That's a New York police officer who's seen a few things over the life of being a New York police officer. That's not a cozy job. That's not like a...
What I'm trying to say here is two things. The first is, before the FBI under Obama came in to confiscate the laptop and try to protect Clinton, the New York Police Department copied it. And the second thing I'm going to say is I'm quite confident the President of the United States of America knows all of this in detail.
Wow. Okay, let's see some of the comments here. Okay, what is that? Okay, never mind. You could pause and read whatever's there. Let me move on. This is crazy. Crazy. 41. Let's go to the next one. Some crazy. And then they're using our kids. Our kids. And this is why they're trying to distract us with stupidity. So they could do these kind of things. Next tweet. This is 6. Epstein victims say Ghislaine Maxwell was worse than Epstein. She groomed and delivered girls to him. Now she pleads the fifth across the board and offers to clear Trump's name in exchange for clemency. Send her evil ass back to doing hard time instead of the cushy camp she's in now. Alright, let's listen. Almost 3 minutes. Screenshot.
Proceeded to start things I didn't want to happen, and I was just numb. I didn't have any words. And that's why when all of this came out, I remember it's not so much Jeffrey as it was Ghislaine, because she was just the one that was guiding it all and leading it all. And I just kept on talking to myself through this and holding back the tears. The whole thing just sucks.
That Netflix documentary identifies that Jeffrey Epstein victim as Mary. Up until that interview, which aired back in 2022, she had never spoken out. She was only moved to do so because she says she wanted people to know what she thought about Maxwell. That she was even worse than Epstein. That she was the one who lured her in, made her feel safe, only to set her and girls like her up for abuse. To help groom them and to even abuse them herself.
I have some videos. I think I mentioned something like that in some of my old videos, where I think there were two sisters. She went, that's Ghislaine, went to speak to the mother for the mother to trust her to let her daughter go with Maxwell. And then I think they took that daughter to New Mexico. And then I started looking what was the age of consent in New Mexico and all of that. Maybe they didn't want to do whatever they wanted to do to her at, let's say, in New York or something. But I did look into that. I'm telling you, the moment I started looking into Harry and Meghan and the royal family and things like that, I think my research took me straight to this type of topic. My channel was starting to get, let's say, I didn't even have that many subscribers. I probably maybe just made it 1,000. 1 month I was maybe 400. The next month it's starting to grow. I remember getting up to $800. After that, it never ever passed 200. Okay, so I was hitting the right note. I was looking at in the right direction. So YouTube have been punishing my channel ever since. But anyway, let's continue.
Mary's description of Maxwell is in line with what prosecutors accused her of back in 2021.
I agree, because I saw that too.
According to the Justice Department, from at least 1994 up to and including on or about 2004, Ghislaine Maxwell assisted, facilitated, and participated in Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of minor girls by, among other things, helping Epstein to recruit, groom, and ultimately abuse victims known to Maxwell and Epstein to be under the age of 18. A federal jury agreed with those allegations, found them plausible, finding her guilty on 5 counts, including sex trafficking of minors. And in 2022, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The Bureau of Prisons guidelines states someone with that sort of conviction cannot be transferred to a minimum security prison, and yet that is where she currently resides, at a federal prison camp nicknamed Club Fed in residential Bryan, Texas, a place that mostly houses white-collar criminals, including Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, and up until December, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shaw. Also a place where you can get a nursing degree and have access to puppies. She was transferred there after she spoke for 9 hours with the president's personal lawyer turned Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Well, Maxwell pleaded the 5th today, a blanket plea to all lawmakers' questions, unless, as her attorney told House Oversight, the president grants her clemency.
All right, so what was I gonna say? Oh, they don't want to put her in maximum because once the inmate knows what she did involved with children, she'll be gone. All right, so let's go to the next tweet. There's a lot of things going on. I don't know. What is that now? There's a video. Web Belent, after seeing unredacted Epstein file, they are a bunch of sick Fs. So many people knew. She also said Trump lied about kicking Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. All right, let's listen to this and then I move to the next one that's on my list.
Just wanted to ask you, have you had a chance to review any of the unredacted files over at the DOJ, the Epstein files?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I just came from there.
What can you tell us?
There's a bunch of sick fucks.
And I mean, anything more that we don't know? I feel like that's pretty well established.
I know. I think the part that is just so disgusting is that so many people knew.
Did he have any ties to any intelligence agencies? We've established some in our reporting, but wanted to know based on the
I
files.
only had about a half hour, so I'm going to go back again tomorrow.
Okay.
So mostly today I was just trying to go through a couple documents that was particularly interested in finding out.
What were those?
One was related to whether or not Trump, had ever kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, as he claimed.
What'd you find?
It's not true.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
All right, so there's all of that. Let's go to the next tweet, okay? It is freaking crazy. There's so much more that's on X. I'm the one who decided not to share them. Let's pause. Okay, this is another representative, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. After seeing unredacted Epstein files, according to the files we saw, Ghislaine Maxwell was engaging in trafficking and rape. I don't think she deserves special treatment. She's a monster. All right, 21 seconds.
Real quick, you said that you do not support at all Ghislaine Maxwell getting any clemency for her testimony. And why is it important for her to be held accountable?
Well, because according to the files that we all saw, she was engaged in the trafficking and also rape of young women and potentially children. I don't think that she deserves any special treatment. She's a monster.
And are you gonna? Real quick,
Wow.
you said that you.
Okay, I'm thinking of some of my old videos. I was spot on with whatever I was sharing with you. All right, she should talk to her boss. He's the one that had her moved to that cushy prison she is now. A good idea. What is that here? Is that an ad? No. And an email, Hen Al Owais, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, an Emirate diplomat, tell Jeffrey Epstein, quote, I'm so excited to see you and introduce you to my sister. She is even prettier than me. What the fuck? Let's listen to this and then I move to the next one. I don't know. Oh, never mind. There's music. It's gonna be a headache for me to share it with you anyway. Next tweet. Let's put allegedly, okay? I don't know anything about that. Next tweet. Alright, let's pause this. I can't believe God will choose someone like King Charles and Prince William to rule over people. Neither upheld the marriage vow. William seems to lack belief in anything, and both protect and defend pedo Prince Andrew for years. Abolish the monarchy. Okay, this one is 1 minute and 44 seconds.
Family, who without their celebrated and tax-funded pomp and pageantry are nothing more than thinly disguised celebrity, claim a prerogative to rule over you and me by right of blood, officially legitimized by the authority of a god who even the first in line to the throne struggles to properly believe in, and yet has apparently ordained from time immemorial that this particular specific man is to rule this particular specific set of islands, including the top, 16.75% of the biggest island to our side. A god whose true nature was, of course, only finally fully understood by King Henry VIII when he got dissatisfied with his wife. Highness, remember, is a relative term. As I like to remind people, higher than what? Just who do these fellow Homo sapiens deem themselves to be higher than? And, crucially, on what grounds? You will never, never, in one of these debates, see a royalist defend this institution on its official, ostensible grounds. It never happens. There will always be some practical concern. Itself dubious, by the way. What about avoiding a King Starmer or sitting above politics? Or if they really haven't thought about it at all, maybe even tourism. Why? When Charles became the king, his proclamation quite explicitly told us that God had ordained this office to rule over us as liege lord and divinely chosen ruler of the Church of England. Why does nobody ever justify the monarchy with its official justification. Because nobody believes in it anymore. Of course they don't. Not even the king could have such a confused ego.
Let's leave that alone. This is for the UK to think about. Like I said, I don't know if it's in this video or the one I did prior to this video, where Charles was going about something, okay, engagement. There were a good amount of people, the public. Out of the group, there was one person who was asking Charles some question, and then the rest of the group go against the guy who was asking the question. They were starting to booing him, like, leave Charles alone, he's this and that. I don't know. I really don't know. We are human, and these people wanted to be the bridge between humanity and God. And then this is the nonsense that they're doing. Anyone who's trying to be God are pretty much a devil. God is the Almighty that there is. But any human being who claim to be God-like, they are the devil. Next tweet. That's why in one of my videos, when I was reading and see some of the things that these people been doing, I'm like, this is where evil originated, and then they spread it all over, and then the weak mind easily pick up on it, messing up with God's children. Next tweet. If you're giving him free board and lodging for the rest of his life, I think you're entitled to say publicly you should go to the US and testify. Kevin Maguire thinks King Charles should tell his brother to go to the US to answer questions. All right, GMP. Let's listen. How long?
This is a scandal that is potentially capable of toppling a government. And
well, they haven't done the right thing, but the prince, well, now the king, he has said, we'll help the cops land. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
that is the right
but
thing
should he
to do.
demand that Andrew now gives evidence on condition of the money that the king is continuing to divert his way to support him?
If you're giving him free board and lodgings and somewhere to live for the rest of his life, I think you are entitled to say you should go to the US and testify. And I think you're entitled to say that publicly. And I think the king should say that publicly.
Should he be giving free board and lodgings in Britain to somebody who is alleged, but the evidence is accumulating by the day, was involved? I mean, young women trafficked onto the royal estate.
Yes.
Emails
these
about trafficking onto the royal estate for sex with Andrew.
They absolutely need to be answered. Those questions absolutely need to be answered, and that's why the police, who are now investigating Peter Mandelson, also need to look at these documents.
I can imagine a different environment, Gillian,
answered.
in which we were talking about, let's say it wasn't the Crown, let's say it was a cabinet minister who was financing their brother or sister to live with these allegations and this documentary evidence. I think in that state, the whole of politics would be saying this is an outrage and this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, or a head teacher, or the head of a charity. Well, you were a children's charity. You would be utterly horrified.
Wow, they're finally discussing things that really meaningful. And this is why the squad were putting some tweets out. I shared them on my community, but I don't know how many videos I'll be recording today because there's a lot. Where the squad were like, thank God they're not talking about, they're not using our face for scapegoat. All right, let's read some of the comment here. It's safe to tell him to go testify because the GOP are in charge of Congress and they don't want any more public outing of their president of the United States. They are not going to call him. Plus, they have no jurisdiction over him anyway. Okay, the older I get, the more likely it seems to me that Diana was murdered because she knew something. I laugh at that idea when I was a kid. Hard to rule it out now. Okay, anyone heard of Zoom? Why will Andrew Mountbatten Windsor? Well, I'm surprised I got that many times when there's so many abbreviation on X. At the time when I'm recording, I don't remember. But anyway, I was just laughing at myself that I got it, okay? Why will Andrew Mountbatten Windsor need to go to the US when he can be asked questions by Zoom? Congress has no authority. There's one here with prosecution anyway. Hypocrites, they spent years demonizing the biracial Duchess of Sussex on that same platform every morning while ignoring the elephant in the room. Prince Andrew, Kevin Maguire, the worst culprit. Please spare us the BS now. There's the rolling eye. Next week, they'll be back on Meghan's gem, destroying the royal family. OMG, open your eyes. Nearly all monarchy and the club and the inbred. If Charles demand Andrew to own up, will he throw Charles under the bus? Philip got away with it. Okay, he should be getting free board and lodging for the rest of his life in prison. For your information, it wasn't just Andrew, it was all of them. And let's not forget, there's that other guy, Snowden. This guy have been very quiet. I don't know. There was issues with him in one of my videos. And since I don't see people mentioning him, I don't mention him anymore that much. But there's more. And what about the other royals who were getting money from Russia and all of that? I report these things around the COVID area. COVID time. What is it? Byline might have some information about that. Okay, so I'm like 30 something minutes. I'm gonna stop this video. The next tweet in my next video, the next tweet I will start with, it will be this. Okay, we're gonna start with that. This is William, who's out and about, and I think the squad were making fun of him. Okay, so please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better